Well, folks, we've now been graced with another groundbreaking album from true generational talent Demi Lovato. This album, we've been assured by critics, isn't merely a series of punk rock-inspired angry warblings from a troubled mind. It's a deeply personal investigation of the evils of the repressive Christian system. It's all right there on the album cover, subtly titled, Holy Fuck. As you can see, it's Demi Lovato in bondage gear sprawled out on a couch shaped like a cross. The hijacking of Christian iconography on behalf of anti-traditional values isn't anything new. Madonna would love her shtick back, Demi. But there's something sadder going on with Demi Lovato, truly. Demi Lovato, like so many other young girls who entered Hollywood too young, has been spat up and chewed up by Hollywood, her life ruined by its values, and then she was told that the only way to reclaim her story is to embrace the very values of the town that wrecked her. Demi Lovato started out as a child star. The number of kids who have emerged wholesome and happy from Hollywood after a career as a child star can probably be named on one hand. Most of them are people who dropped out of Hollywood as they hit their teenage years. But from Demi Lovato to Britney Spears to Lindsay Lohan to Miley Cyrus, Hollywood takes cute kids and then actively makes their lives worse. Lovato, unfortunately, is not a healthy person. Here she is recently hunting for sexually abused ghosts on reality TV.
She has trauma.
She does?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you know?
And that's why she doesn't like men. If I sing you a song, can my friends come back in the room?
There you go.
Cool,
there you go.
Cool. I will be rising from the ground like a skyscraper.
Which brings us to Lovato's latest album. Lovato's album is the story of her life in song form, and it really is tragic. Lovato was born in 1992. She grew up in a broken home because her parents divorced just after she turned 2. She apparently had a rough relationship with her dad. He died when she was 10. That same year, she got her first job in Hollywood on Barney and Friends. By the time she was 15, she was a star on Disney Channel. She says that was the year she was raped. Her first album dropped when she was just 16. She then began dating actor Wilson Valderrama when he was 29 and she was just 17. That was in 2010. By later that year, she was in rehab. According to Lovato, she was already suffering from bulimia and engaging in self-harm by the time she entered rehab. All of these facts make appearances on her album, particularly in her heartbreaking song, 29.
Pedal on the vine, too young to drink wine, just 5 years of bleeder, student and a teacher, far from medicine, what the fuck's consent, numbers told you not to, but that didn't stop you.
The song concludes with her lament that now that she's 29, she would never think of doing what somebody did to her when she was 17. She sings on the album about her sexualization as a child, the determination by Hollywood to treat her as a sex symbol. Here she is in her song, Eat Me.
Try to be sexy, but don't be too sexual. Please be presentable, bit more accessible. Get up on your pedestal, everyone's watching, so don't be forgettable.
This period of her life was really, really dark, and that darkness really hasn't let up. She was addicted to cocaine. She nearly overdosed several times. In 2018, she suffered from an actual opioid overdose. She OD'd on oxycodone laced with fentanyl. She had to be revived. She suffered multiple strokes, a heart attack, and brain damage. She sings about all of that too. Here she is in Substance.
Am I the only one looking for substance? God, it only left me lonely and loveless. Don't wanna end up in a casket, head full of maggots.
What's her conclusion? Her conclusion is that the values that she was never given, values of which she was deprived by an entire industry that runs on sex and drugs and hedonism, it's those values that are to blame. And that true liberation lies in embracing precisely the value systems that damaged her as a kid. So she sings this in Fvck.
What I am and what I am is a piece of me. Take a bite just to watch me bleed.
Demi Lovato treats her inborn human holiness, the gift of all people, as merely a hedonistic identity in her song, Holy Fuck.
And she's a novice, a beginner on the sexorcist, the sinner. I can guide you, I can teach you, honey. This is just a preview, cause my body's a communion. Take a bite of what I'm doing.
Heaven, as she says in her song of the same name, is actually just masturbation.
If pleasure's wrong, cast me out like a sinner. I found myself with my 2 little fingers. My right hand's got me singing my praises. Holy water, my spirit awakens.
Now listen, all of this would really just be pure tragedy, deserving of nothing but sympathy. Except that the media believe that in Lovato telling her story and tearing into a value system she's never truly tried, traditional roles and sexual mores, community and church, she's actually striking a blow for freedom. Pitchfork.com called the album defiant, an attack on the role of Christian purity culture, an irreverent diatribe mixing the sacred and the profane. The BBC's review says Demi Lovato is back, and this time she's angry. In fact, she's liberated. Clash calls the album, quote, a howl of brilliance, oozing sexuality, lustful anthems paired with an equally sinful soundscaping. Variety says, from the crucifix and bondage of the album's cover art to its omnipresent burnt coal vibe to her repeated self-referencing of being ungodly but heaven sent, this even darker Demi is determined not to let anyone forget for a moment she's been changed by her life's complicated circumstances and that going punk is her best refuge. This is the true satanic genius of the Hollywood value system. It ruins people by telling them they will be more successful if they abandon traditional values, more liberated if they tear down those values. Then, when those people's lives are ruined, Hollywood celebrates them as activists. The only way to gain back your credibility is to embrace the very moral program that damaged you in the first place. This is the strategy of a cult. Do what the cult leader tells you, engage in whatever damaging behavior he demands, and then become his true acolyte, and you will be saved. Except Hollywood doesn't save anyone. It only damns, and Demi Lovato's latest album is just proof of that.